After spending my entire weekend helping them renovate, my daughter-in-law handed me a list of rules. Don't come by unless we ask. Don't call unless it's important. Don't expect anything. My son just nodded in agreement as I read each rule, feeling my heart sink lower and lower. I'm not one to put my life online, but I've been sitting with this for days, and I feel like if I don't get it out, I might explode. I'm 64. Semi-retired now, after nearly 4 decades working my hands to the bone. My husband passed when our son, Eric, was 15. Cancer came fast and cruel. From then on, it was just me and Eric. I did everything for that boy. Worked nights, took side jobs on weekends. Skipped meals sometimes just to make sure he had what he needed. Eric was a good kid growing up. Quiet, respectful. He never got in trouble. We didn't have much, but we had each other. When he got into Oregon State, I cried. I took out a second mortgage to help him pay for the first year, sold my husband's old truck when things got tight. I didn't think twice. That's what you do for your kid. He met Amanda during his senior year. She was polished. Pretty. Came from money, I think. The kind of girl who looked like she always had things handled, but never smiled with her eyes. I tried to connect with her, but she didn't seem interested. Every conversation with her felt like I was being interviewed. But I stayed out of their way. I didn't want to be one of those mothers. They got married during the pandemic, small backyard thing. I gave them $5,000 to help with the down payment on their first condo. Amanda didn't say thank you, but Eric did. That was enough for me at the time. Fast forward to last year. They buy a fixer-upper outside Portland. Eric calls and asks if I'd be willing to help with renovations on weekends. I said yes without hesitation. I figured, here's my chance to still be part of his life. I thought I was doing something meaningful. I showed up every Saturday morning with my tools, old boots, and a packed lunch. Sometimes I'd even bring extra food for them. Amanda never joined us. She'd just float around with her phone, or leave altogether. I never saw her lift a hammer. I'd work all day while Eric and I tore out old fixtures, redid wiring, and laid down tile. I even helped paint their master bedroom by myself one Sunday when Eric had to run errands. I didn't complain. What hurt the most was how Amanda acted like I was the hired help. She never asked how I was. Never said thank you. One time, I cut my hand pretty bad on a rusted nail and bled through the rag I wrapped it in. She walked past me and asked if I could avoid getting blood on the stairs. Not, are you okay? Not, let me get you a Band-Aid. Just that. I should have known then. But Eric kept saying, we're almost there, Mom. Couldn't have done this without you. And that made it all worth it. Or so I thought. Last weekend, they told me to come by Saturday evening to celebrate the house being finished. I thought, finally, we'll share a meal, laugh about all the hard work, maybe even talk about future grandkids. I showed up with a bottle of wine and a batch of Amanda's favorite lemon cookies. I still tried. I really did. Amanda opened the door. Didn't smile. Just took the cookies and said, thanks. We sat in the new kitchen. Still smelled like fresh paint. Eric poured me a glass of wine. Then Amanda handed me a folded piece of paper. We just want to set expectations moving forward, she said. Expectations. I opened the paper. It was typed, formatted like a list. Don't come by unless we ask. Don't call unless it's important. Don't expect anything. That's it.
No greeting. No explanation.
Just rules. I read them twice, thinking maybe I misunderstood. I looked up. Amanda was staring straight at me, calm, like she was proud of herself. Eric wouldn't meet my eyes, but he nodded. That's what broke me. Not Amanda handing me that list like I was some damn intruder in their perfect life, but my son nodding along like it made sense. Like this was fair. I didn't cry. I didn't say a word. I just got up, left the wine and cookies on the table, and walked out. My knees ached from all those weekends kneeling on their floors, and I could barely make it down the porch steps. No one followed me. No one called the next day. Or the day after. It's been 5 days now. I haven't heard from Eric at all. I keep replaying everything in my head. Every hour I gave them. Every scraped knuckle and sore back. Every time I chose kindness over confrontation. And for what? A typed list telling me to stay in my lane? They think I'm done. That I'll just fade into the background like some disposable helper. But they don't know me as well as they think. I raised my son better than this. But if he's going to let Amanda run the show, if he's going to cut me off like a contractor whose job is done, then fine. I've got plenty of time now. And I've still got the receipts. Literally and figuratively. And I'm done being quiet. The day after they gave me that list, I sat on my porch with every muscle in my body aching. Not from the renovations, but from the weight of betrayal. I kept thinking, maybe Eric will call. Maybe he regrets it. But no, nothing. Not even a text. Just silence. Like I was already erased. That night, I went out to the garage and pulled out my old receipts binder. I keep track of every purchase. It's a habit from when I was struggling financially. I found the Home Depot and Lowe's receipts first. Thousands of dollars spent on flooring, drywall, tile adhesive, tools. I paid for almost everything without a second thought. I figured it was a gift, a contribution to Eric's future. But seeing those numbers now, it felt different. Then I found the contractor estimate I'd drawn up, more of a joke at the time, where I had listed out all the hours I'd worked. Over 120 hours of labor, not including driving time. I looked at the total and let out a breath. I hadn't realized how much I'd actually done. A week passed. Still no word. So I decided to stop waiting. I mailed them a packet, neatly organized, copies of every receipt, a typed letter itemizing the hours I worked, and a total amount. I didn't say it was a bill. I just wrote, "For your records, since everything seems to be formal now." I made sure Amanda would be the one to open it. She's the one who handles their mail. I got a text from Eric the next day. First contact in over a week. Eric, Mom, what is this? You're sending us invoices now. No, how are you?
No apology.
Just that.
I didn't respond.
That same night, Amanda emailed me. Amanda, we never asked you to spend money on our house.
It was your choice to volunteer.
Please don't make this into something ugly.
Ugly.
That's what she called it. Me asking for acknowledgement after 2 months of physical labor. I finally replied, "Me, what's ugly is the way you both handed me a list like I was some stranger. What's ugly is my son standing by while I got pushed out of his life. I gave you time, labor, money. And you gave me a list of rules. So, if we're being formal now, I'll treat it that way too." That was the start. 2 days later, Eric showed up at my house unannounced. He looked tired, nervous, like a boy caught between two worlds. "Can we talk?" he asked. I let him in. He sat at the kitchen table like he used to when he was little, waiting for breakfast. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he said. "Amanda, she needs boundaries."
She didn't mean it that way.
I stared at him for a while before I answered. "Did you mean it that way?" He looked down. "It's complicated." No, it wasn't. He made a choice. She made it easy, but he still chose. He let her hand me that list. He didn't say a word. And now that there were consequences, now he wanted to patch it up. I didn't yell. I just said, "You built that house with my hands. You built your future on my back. And now you want to forget that." He said, "You're blowing this out of proportion." That was it. That sentence. That tone. Like I was some overdramatic old woman clinging to something small. I stood up and told him to leave. I said, "You know where to find me when you grow a spine." He left without another word. But the damage was done. And I wasn't done yet. About a week after Eric stormed out of my kitchen, I got a phone call from an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. It was Amanda's mother. Her voice was calm, polite, almost too sweet. She introduced herself and said, "I just wanted to reach out, woman to woman. I understand there's been tension." I didn't say anything at first. I wasn't in the mood to play games. She continued, "Amanda told me what happened. I think it's unfortunate, but also, sometimes mothers have trouble letting go. We all have to adjust to new roles." Letting go. I finally said, "Is that what you call this? Letting go?" after giving them 2 months of my life and thousands of dollars? She didn't miss a beat. Well, perhaps it's best we all move forward with grace. I'd hate for things to become difficult for everyone. There it was. The threat under the smile. That call made something click in my head. I started digging. I don't know what I was looking for at first, just something that would explain how my son turned into a stranger. But then I remembered something. One day during the renovations, Amanda had been on a Zoom call in the kitchen. She didn't realize I was nearby, working on the cabinets. I heard her say, "Don't worry, we'll just write it off as volunteer labor. It won't cost us anything." At the time, I brushed it off. But now I saw it clearly. This wasn't just distance or miscommunication. This was strategic, calculated. I pulled up their house records online. The deed was in both their names, but the loan application, the mortgage pre-approval, listed Amanda's father as the co-signer. That explained why they got such a low rate despite Eric's average credit. I also found a permit request they filed with the city for renovations. Eric had listed me as an unpaid licensed consultant. I never gave permission for that, but it helped them pass inspection faster and skip certain insurance fees. They used my name to cut corners. I called the city office, asked a few questions.
Quietly, carefully.
The clerk confirmed it. "Oh yeah, your name's on the permit documents as a technical consultant. That means you signed off on the electrical work. Pretty standard if you're a licensed contractor." Except I'm not licensed anymore. My license expired 3 years ago. They committed fraud, using my name, my expired license, to push paperwork through. And if something ever went wrong, like a fire or an inspection failure, it would land on me, not them. I sat with that for a long time. Anger doesn't even cover it. They didn't just disrespect me. They used me. They exposed me legally. And now they wanted me to disappear quietly with their rules and grace. That's when I decided this wouldn't end with a confrontation or an emotional plea. It would end with action. After I found out they used my expired contractor license to push through city permits, something inside me flipped. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was focused. I made copies of the documents from the city office, printed out the mortgage filings, everything with my name on it. Then I drove to a lawyer. I didn't want to sue, at least not yet. But I wanted to know exactly how much danger they'd put me in. The lawyer, a no-nonsense woman in her 40s, sat across from me as I showed her the papers. She took one look and said, "If anything goes wrong in that house, if there's an electrical fire, someone gets hurt, or they try to sell without fixing the permit trail, you could be liable. This is serious." I felt sick. She gave me advice. Send a certified letter, in writing, demanding they remove my name from any filings, and informing them that I did not give legal consent for any of it. That way, I'd at least protect myself on record.
So I did.
I sent the letter, and within 3 days, I got another email, this time from Amanda's lawyer. "My clients are confused and distressed by your recent threats and accusations. You willingly participated in the renovation process and gave no indication of dissatisfaction at the time. We advise you to cease further contact unless through legal counsel." I read it 3 times.
Client.
That's what I'd become to them, an opposing party. I didn't respond. I just filed everything. Quietly, methodically. I wasn't going to flinch. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message from someone I hadn't talked to in years, Eric's college roommate, Josh. He lives in Seattle now, but we'd stayed in touch on and off. He'd seen a few photos on Facebook from Amanda's housewarming party, and he messaged me to ask why I wasn't in any of them. I told him what had happened. Just the basics. He sent me a voice message. "Jesus, I always thought Amanda was intense. But this? I remember Eric saying you practically raised him alone.
I'm sorry."
That's messed up. Then he said something I didn't expect. "You know she's been bad-mouthing you to their friends for months, right? Saying you were controlling and overstepped boundaries. She even told people you forced your way into the renovation project to make it about you." That was the moment it all came together. Amanda had been running a slow, careful smear campaign, telling their circle, his friends, neighbors, maybe even coworkers. that I was some clingy, pushy mother who didn't know how to let go. That's how she made sure no one would question it when they eventually pushed me out. She laid the groundwork for the exile long before the list. She wasn't cold. She was calculated. I started reaching out quietly to people who knew the real story. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just sent them photos of the work I'd done. Screenshots of texts where Eric asked me to come. Receipts showing everything I'd bought. I let the facts speak for themselves. The cracks started forming. One of Amanda's old coworkers, someone I'd met once at a barbecue, sent me a message. I knew something felt off. She always talks like she's the victim in everything. Thank you for setting the record straight. Now I knew I wasn't crazy. They didn't just disrespect me. They set me up. They rewrote the story, made me the villain in their version of events. But they forgot something. I don't go down quietly. I never have. And I'm not done yet. I waited 3 more weeks. I didn't call, didn't text, didn't answer anything from Eric or Amanda. I watched from a distance while their carefully crafted social image began to slip. Mutual friends stopped liking their posts. One of Amanda's momfluencer blog entries quietly disappeared after I sent screenshots of her volunteer labor, quote, to the platform moderator. Then I made my move. The lawyer I'd hired filed a formal complaint with the city. We included proof that my contractor's license was expired at the time of the renovation, that I never authorized use of my name, and that Amanda and Eric knowingly submitted false permit filings. We submitted photos of a house during construction, emails, receipts, everything. The city opened an investigation. Within 2 weeks, Amanda and Eric received a letter from the city's code enforcement office. They were found in violation of permit fraud and faced fines upwards of $20,000 unless they brought the house up to code, with licensed contractors under full inspection and at their own expense. I wasn't finished. Remember all those materials I bought? The floors, the drywall, the tools? Turns out I'd kept a line of credit open for my old contracting business. I reported the charges as personal business expenses used outside of the agreed scope. My credit provider opened a dispute investigation. They sided with me. Amanda and Eric were now responsible for repaying over $8,700 in materials they had no paper trail authorizing. They had to hire a new contractor to redo major parts of the work, especially the electrical. Apparently, Amanda had told their neighbors I was a licensed inspector, which I wasn't. When that lie came out during the city review, their homeowner's insurance flagged it. That triggered a partial suspension of coverage, meaning they had to pay out of pocket until repairs were certified. Their housewarming party photos vanished from social media. I heard through the grapevine that Amanda's side of the family, especially her parents, were furious.
Not because of what they did to me,
but because the situation was embarrassing and bad for their image. Her mother sent me one more email, condescending as ever. I hope you feel vindicated. Amanda and Eric are struggling now, financially and emotionally. This could have been handled privately. I didn't reply. I just forwarded her email to my lawyer, who added it to our file. Just in case. Eric called me a week after that. He didn't sound angry. He sounded small, worn down, tired. Why'd you do it, Mom? He asked quietly. I said, you gave me a list.
He was silent for a long time.
Then, we're probably going to have to sell the house. I didn't say good. I didn't say serves you right. I said, I hope you remember who helped build it. Then I hung up. I haven't heard from them since. I probably never will. That's fine. They thought they could use me, rewrite the story, and push me aside like I was a phase they outgrew. But I'm not some bitter old woman they get to manage. I'm the reason that house stood. I'm the reason they got it livable. And I'm the reason they lost it. That was my final gift to them. The lesson that real family doesn't come with rules on printer paper. It comes with consequences.